Hi, this is Russell Davis reporting for Esctoday.com. I'm in London with two gentlemen from Armenia. This is Andrei, who represented Armenia in the 2006 Eurovision Song Contest, and Hava, I'm sorry, I got it wrong, who was the producer of Kele Kele.
Composer and producer for Kele Kele. Kele Kele.
So what brings you guys to London?
Actually, the Armenian community in London wanted to put together a concert for, I wouldn't say just the Armenian community, but anyone who's interested in hearing some Armenian commercial music, pop music, and brought over a few singers, such as Andrei, and myself. I'll be DJing in the beginning of the show. That's it, just to represent some Armenian pop culture to people in London.
So is it contemporary pop music or is it traditional?
There's a mixture actually, because there's an artist who's actually more influenced by the Western rhythms and so on. We have Andrei who likes to mix our ethnic music with commercial music, more for the mainstream and so on.
Okay, I have to ask Andrei about his Eurovision entry back in 2006. What is it like to be the first Armenian artist in Eurovision?
Իսկապես շատ հուզիչ էր իմ համար ու ուրախալի որ ինձ ես եմ ընտրվել առաջինը.
Of course, it felt really good that he's the actual first person going to represent Armenia, but of course at the same time a little nerve-wracking.
Ու իսկապես դա մեծ բան էր մեր ազգի համար այն ժամանակ մի անգամից մտնել եւ լինել տասնյակում, որը որ իսկապես մեծ հաղթանակ էր.
A big success story, but because there's so many countries involved, and Armenia participating for the first time and ending up in the top 10 was a really big thing for all Armenians in Armenia and of course and abroad. Because Eurovision, Andrei didn't say this part, but I know we all Armenians know that Eurovision for some reason is we're very interested in Eurovision. It's a big part of our culture because we're very into music and the arts and so on. So Eurovision was a very important thing for us.
Do you have any special memories, perhaps some of the performers you were competing against? Do you remember maybe some of the acts? There was a crazy lady from Iceland called Sylvia Knight.
Հիշում եմ բոլորին այսքան կապի մասին են չէ հարցնում։
Հա, այդ ինչ որ հիշատակներ, հիշումներ, այդպես բան։
Ամենաշատը հիշում եմ որ առաջի օրը, կիսաեզրափակչի օրը մայիսի 18-ին, երբ որ ես բեմադրության մեջ հետ էի գնում եւ երգում էի դու սինսալա այդ ժամանակ միկրոֆոնը մտավ բերանից մեջ.
I was just saying that how in the first semi-final that when he was performing and there was a moment where he was going back like this and the microphone ended up in his mouth instead.
You were song one in the semi-final and the final song in the final. Which was the best position for you to sing?
Դա երևի թե ամենալավն է, սկզբից երբ որ առաջին անգամ ես շատ էի մտածում որ վատ է, բայց հետո հասկացա որ հաստորեն Եվրատեսիլ 2006 Հայաստանը բացեց եւ փակեց.
You know, because in the beginning, and being the first place was, of course, we all know that it's not the greatest place to be in, but at the same time, it was cool that we opened up the show. Our country opened up Eurovision, and basically was there at the end too.
Can you sing me just a little bit of your song?
Should I live, should I die without your love? Should I smile, should I cry without your love? Should I fall, should I fly without your love? All I can is only living for you, breathing for you. What I lose, what I find without your love. What I say, what I hide without your love. What I have in my mind without your love. Tell me what I have to do since I love you.
Wow, that's cool. Now, will you try for Armenia again in Eurovision for the second time, like Dima Balam, and maybe win the competition?
I don't know. Կարողա լինի, ես չգիտեմ դեռ.
Yeah, I guess not at this moment.
Երևի թե այս ընթացքը որ բոլորը երկրորդ անգամ գնացին, չգիտեմ.
Because it's become a trend for some countries to do it a second time. I don't know.
Քանի որ մեր ժողովուրդը ընդհանրապես միշտ ինչ-որ համեմատություններ անցկացնում, կասեմ հիմա երբ որ ռուսը գնաց, հիմա տեսեք նորից մեր երկիչը նորից որոշեց գնալ, բայց իսկապես դեռ այդ ցանկությունը ինձ մոտ չկա.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the interest in it right now. You know, because we just started in Eurovision, we've just participated 4 times, so we have so many artists in Armenia that deserve to be part of Eurovision, and you know.
And what about your career now? Are you selling music outside of the Armenian community or in different territories?
Preparing a new album right now and actually working in the States, working with producers from the States actually. With Jive Records, connected to Jive Records. There's an artist from Australia, right? Yeah. Samantha Jade is a popular singer from Australia. Yeah. They did a duet recently. I think they have more maybe. A lot of big concerts in the works, mostly for the Armenian communities. But
this is
the first for actually London. Like I've said before, London, we have a community here that hasn't really seen Armenian pop music too much. They don't know too much about it. So this is basically a big thing for us too, for Andre, to take part in something in London, and maybe, who knows, maybe to broader things in the UK.
Okay. Now moving on to 2008, Kele Kele was a huge success, 4th position, I understand. Were you expecting to do so well in the competition?
No, not exactly. I was asked to actually compose a song to take part in the national finals, and I really did not have an interest in doing it, but I did it anyway, and it was chosen in the finals, in the national finals, and then whatever happened at Eurovision, I didn't expect anything that high, and I mean I did have expectations.
It was one of the favourites. It was well rated before the competition.
Yeah, exactly. I did have high expectations only because I know in certain territories it was a popular song. But at the same time, I'm happy with 4th place.
What other projects are you working on at the moment?
I work with a lot of different artists in Armenia, mostly in pop music. Possible that I might participate again in the future for Eurovision. Maybe not only Armenia. I've talked to a lot of composers from different countries that have participated.
Maybe which countries you can maybe
I've spoken to Gerard a few times for Malta, who's participating with Malta. I've spoken to Garen, who's an Armenian composer from, not composer, lyricist from Russia, who did Dima Bilan song and Annie Lorax, and he's got one of the most records. Him and Gerard, if I'm not mistaken, have the most songs for Eurovision. That's from what I've heard. Yeah. 2 possible collaborations that I might do. That's about it.
And tonight, are you performing as well?
I'll be playing a bit of more Armenian music that's more based on the house style, remixes maybe of John and Kele Kele and so on, just to open up the show.
Cool. What a lot of fans like about Armenian songs in Eurovision is that they bring in traditional music as well as pop music, and it blends it together. And it's is that something that Armenians try every year when they send a song to Eurovision? Is blend the traditional with the pop?
You know, even if we don't, we want to try something else and try something new. It's always it just becomes natural that we want to include the ethnic elements in our music. It's just more, you know,
from the heart.
Yeah, from the heart, exactly.
And it works because great results, top 10 every time.
It does, but at the same time, you know, I know like Western Europe is kind of getting tired of all that very ethnic thing. They say this every year, but at the same time we see what happens every year, and all the East is always in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. They always have great positions in the top 10.
Yeah. So if Armenia wins Eurovision, will you be ready to host the event?
That's a tough question.
Is there a venue?
There is a venue. I mean, I know, I've heard that Eurovision is taking place in different venues across the world that have been smaller than the actual big ones that we've seen. We do have venues. Yeah, maybe renovating them and so on. Accommodations might be a problem. Hotels and so on might be an issue. But I know how our government thinks, and if that actually happens, they will work very hard in that 1 year to do as much as they can to make everything go perfectly.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened very soon, with the talent that you have from Armenia, obviously.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you very much.